Hello, this is Deanne from Small But Kind and Mighty, and this is my latest video on learning through play activities that also help kids learn about self-regulation. By the end of this video, you will know how to make a swirling, shakeable sensory bottle, why sensory bottles are useful, and also some pretty cool science. If you love the idea of activities and crafts for kids that keep them busy and also encourage them to learn life and academic skills, then please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when I publish a new video, and make sure you stick around until the end of this one because I've got tons of free resources to share with you then. In my video on the nebula in a bottle, I asked folks if they were interested in a shakeable sensory bottle, and the feedback was mostly yes. So let's first take a look at what sensory bottles are. Well, they're useful for children and adults as an aid to self-regulation. In the case of my nebula in a bottle, this is something that by providing a visual experience that has a stillness but also has a lot of variety, is designed to encourage calm, quiet contemplation. It would be a terrific visual focus for teaching kids how to meditate, for example. This galactic sensory bottle works in the same way but adds some other dimensions. First, it provides both visual and auditory feedback. Second, it provides a visual aid to help someone process overwhelm. They shake the bottle and the swirling activity mirrors their own agitation or overwhelm. As the contents of the jar start to slow down and settle, it encourages the person focusing on it to slow down their breathing, relax, and start to process their feelings. If you've heard of sensory bottles before, then it would usually be in the context of aids for preschoolers and autistic children who often do need extra support in order to learn how to self-regulate. But honestly, I find these useful for people of all ages. One of the best additional benefits of sensory play and activities is that they pair very naturally together with learning more about science. For example, this sensory bottle is made with baby oil and water, which leads naturally to the question, why don't oil and water mix? Well, water is a polar molecule.
Oh no!
Think batteries or magnets. One end of the molecule is positively charged, and the other end is negatively charged, and those opposite charges attract each other. Oil molecules, on the other hand, are non-polar, and so they aren't attracted to either end of a water molecule. This is what makes oil and water immiscible, which is a fancy word for can't be mixed. Now, most food colouring is water-based, so using food colouring in the sensory jar helps kids visualise what's going on here. Get them to watch the water bubbles trapped in the oil. Watching those green water bubbles in the oil drop back down into the water is a great cue to talk about density. Oil is less dense than water, which is why, no matter how much you shake the sensory bottle, the oil will always float to the top. Ask the kids what they think would happen if you were to put an ice cube in the bottle. Well, it's made from water, so would it sink? That's not likely because ice has about the same density as oil, so it would likely float in the oil layer. You could also make a density column like this one. For more information about density columns and to find out what I put in mine, then do check the blog post, which is linked in the description box below. As I mentioned previously, food colouring is water-based. This enables you to use your sensory bottle to also discuss colour mixing. Food colouring colours the water but not the oil, so when I vigorously shook the bottle, the clear baby oil made the green water seem lighter. If you used red or blue food colouring and dark yellow vegetable oil instead of the clear baby oil I used, you would see more obvious colour changes as you shook your jar. Before I show you exactly how I made my sensory bottle, if the idea of combining play, learning, and teaching life skills like self-regulation appeals to you, then please give this video a like. And definitely take a look at my video on teaching self-regulation for kids. Is an oil and water sensory bottle something you see yourself making? Well, here's how I made mine, and just a reminder that all the materials you need are listed in the blog post that's linked in the description box below. So, step 1, gather your materials. You will need a bottle with a screw top. Now, you can use hot glue, but I had a terrible experience with a snow globe that I made a few years ago when using hot glue to secure the lid to the bottle. As I'm not interested in oil, coloured water and glitter going everywhere, I'm using thread tape and silicone to seal my lid. You will also need baby oil. I'm using distilled water because I don't want the contents of my sensory bottle to get grungy. Food colouring and glitter. If you're using thread seal tape or Teflon tape, then you want to put that around the threads of your bottle now. Next, you want to add the baby oil or vegetable oil to your bottle roughly about half the way up. Then it's time to add your glitter, about enough so that the surface of the oil is nicely covered. Then it's time to mix your food colouring with your distilled water and pour it into your bottle until it's full, but there's still a gap at the top for some airspace. Now it's time to screw the lid onto your bottle. If you're using hot glue, obviously you need to apply it at this point. If, like me, you're not using hot glue, then once your lid is securely on your bottle, then you can start sealing the lid to the bottle with some transparent silicone. The silicone will need about 30 minutes to set, so you will have to let it be for a little while before you can start shaking it. If you're ready for that ton of free resources I promised, well, first, my sensory planetary walk combines fun planetary facts with science and recipes for 8 sensory play bins, plus a moon dough recipe. This is perfect to combine sensory activities and learning more about planetary science. Links to this free handout and the relevant videos can be found in the description box below, where you will also find the link to my latest blog post that has a summary of everything you need to make your own oil and water sensory bottle, as well as links to my other resources on teaching self-regulation to kids. Remember to let me know in the comments if you're going to make an oil and water sensory bottle. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak with you soon.